What's up, Crafty Hope, and welcome. It is the week 2 prompt project or mixed media prompt project for my new challenge, which is hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. If you saw my week 2, I made my prompt card for my prompt deck with the prompts Gelli-print, letter or number sticker, and junk mail. I'll put a link up there to that video in case you missed it, and it is week 2. So this is the project I'm going to make with these prompts. I didn't think real hard about this. Last week I decided, since I had that hole punch, I would do tags because that seemed about right, but I was just feeling like some collage, and all of these things really lent well to collage, so I thought I would just jump in an art journal. I'm going to use my Square Dilutions journal because I hardly ever use it, and I figure that'll give me some space to kind of feel about. So what have I gathered? I didn't gather a whole lot. I've got a couple of Gelli-prints here. These two I actually put in a Google Drive link thing that I scanned along with a couple other, I think there may be 2 sheets, I think, of Gelli-print in case you don't have a Gelli-print and want to play along with this. So these, and like I said, a couple other things. One I used on here, and I can't remember what the other thing was. So I hope you'll enjoy that. For letter and number stickers, this Wiley thing, you can see it's all bent, is a sticker that looks kind of like cursive handwriting, and it's everywhere in my stash, in my sticker box. So pulled it out. It has letters on it. It is a sticker. And then I also have these, which I think are supposed to be for like mailboxes maybe or something. I don't even know. They came with something. I remember I kept them. So yeah, and they have letters on them. I don't see any numbers, and yeah, these are numbered. These are done weird. There's no discernible order on this, so I may use these. And then for junk mail, I do have the junk mail I pulled out for Monday's card, but then I went and checked the mail, and I found this coupon ad for dog stuff. We don't use this, so it was just an ad. And I may cut out a few things on here, words or something, but I also got a credit card offer, so there was this inside that envelope, and it's a really neat kind of thin paper, so I may just use that for collage. Like I said, these all really lent well to collage. So I have, other than the fact that maybe I've got a little bit of like a red pink thing going on with some of the things I've picked out, I don't really have a direction. I'm just gonna get started and use these prompts and go for it, and I will voice over probably the rest of this. I jumped right into that Dilution Square journal with a Stabilo Woody in a like peachy pink color. As you saw, some of the elements I had gathered had like pinks and red in it, and I'm just using this to kind of break up the page a little, get something down on it so it's not so intimidating. I knew there was going to be some collage to come, but I wanted to go ahead and work in the background. So I did some scribbles. I tried to get it to blur a little. It did okay. It did best when I used my finger to kind of nudge it out, but I wanted to keep some of those lines as they were. And then I wanted a little bit more something on there, so yeah, I grabbed my yogurt cup that's got dried instant coffee in it, and I decided to add a few more granules in there, crystals, whatever you want to call them, and wet that. And I'm going to make some marks. I'm not going straight for the splatter with the coffee. I'm going to go ahead and use that coffee to make some really deep marks on here. And this lends in the end to some more decisions I make down the road. I will say that this being as wet as it was and as fresh as it was, it took forever to dry, y'all. And it left a lot of texture really on there. So it's kind of neat how this coffee worked out. So I did go ahead and splatter it because I can't help it. And as you can see, I'm working mostly on the right page and just kind of bleeding over into that left page. So I took a little bit of time to dry that. You can see some of that is not dry. It got all over me. Whatever. I'm okay with having a little coffee on me. It's one of my favorite scents. So I used that paper out of that credit card offer to go ahead and add some collage down. I do love my collage. I'm just using my Ooh glue stick and getting that down. I'm going to put it down in 2 or 3 places. And really all of the items I had for this week, the Gelli-print, the stickers, the junk mail, were really great for collage material. So I'm kind of looking at it like that, and you'll see that's basically what I'm going to do. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think my card was a little more inventive, since I used that junk mail postcard thing as a stencil mask. So yeah, I got that credit card offer, and then I'm coming in with that like cursive sticker I have with the letters on it to go ahead and stick that in a couple places. And you can see I'm kind of keeping to the odd numbered thing. I've got 3 different areas that I'm kind of concentrating on, and I'll end up bringing a couple of those together. I was having some trouble getting that sticker right up against the edge of my paper there. So yeah, I've got those down, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull out those red stickers too. And y'all, I remembered what those stickers are from. My nieces, when they were little, got bikes, I think, for Christmas. And they came with little license plate things that you could put their names on to attach to their, maybe it wasn't bikes, maybe it was something else. I don't remember, but I remember the little license plate things, and these were the letters for those license plates. And once we got their names on there, nobody really wanted the stickers, so I took them. And that's where these came from. They are a little, I guess, rubbery. Think like electrical tape, like that kind of slick surface on it. So they're not going to absorb anything, but I like the bright redness of them. Once I got that, got that all down in a couple different places, I decided to add some regular collage. I pulled out my little scrap box, and I'm going to stick some papers down. Again, concentrating on those 3 or 4. I guess I added 4, but I'm going to connect, like I said, a couple of them. So it's still, I don't even know. It may end up just being 2 by the end of it. So I'm getting those down. And this, I think in some of this is where I was getting the coffee on me, maybe. So I'm starting with some of the thicker things. Book pages mostly. I think there's a hymnal page, and then I think that's a book page. And you can see I've got some sewing pattern there as well, which is great. And all of these things also have letters on them. So I'm kind of going with a letter or word theme, I guess, with all of this. It was unintentional, really, but I do love just kind of the nonsensicalness of a torn book page where you can't really see what it's talking about. And I wanted to hide some of that credit card offer because some of the words on there were, it's got the name of the company on it, and it says overdraft and things like that are not pleasant words. So yeah, I'm going to cover some of that up. In addition, I'm covering up some of those kind of rubbery letters so that once I add more media to this, maybe it would also stick to where those letters are. Since this sewing pattern paper is transparent, you can still see the red of the letters, but it's less pronounced, maybe. So I'm getting all that down, and you can see how that middle piece of collage and that bottom one, I connected all of that. So that is all good. I did grab my jelly plate or my Gelli-print here, and I cut down some of the white off so I can take a look at it. I've kind of decided to make some shapes with this. And so, just like last week for my week 1 project, this is the week 2 project. My week 1 project, I made the triangles. I'm kind of doing the same thing, cutting out some shapes. This time, kind of a rainbow shape, and I get the one there and decide, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep with the idea of the 3 sections and add 3 of these bow shapes on here. This is kind of out of my comfort zone. These colors are not normally ones that I would add really into, not even together, because it's like a peachy pink and a lime green. And while I like those colors, I guess, they're not my usual MO. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those 3 shapes down. And I'm going to struggle with this for a little bit, trying to get everything to be cohesive. I'm not, I'm going to go ahead and tell you in the end, I'm not positive this page is completely cohesive. I like it. I like the brightness and the experimenting and all of that. And that's why what I end up using as my focal kind of comes into play. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I grabbed some Liquitex acrylic ink and, oh, did I leave it up here? I think it's like cadmium red. Let me see what I hear is. Naphthol Crimson. That's what it is. And went around the outside of my larger rainbow there, and then took a wet paintbrush, and I'm just kind of activating and bleeding that out. And y'all, I know I saw this in a video during the what is it, life book taster sessions that have been the last 2 weeks, and I know I saw an artist do this, and I can't remember her name for the life of me, so I'm sorry. If you can remember who that is, please mention it below. I try to go through those so quickly that sometimes the names get lost on me. So I did that on all 3 of my bow, which helps, and I picked the red because I thought that it would help the red letters on my page kind of be more cohesive. And then, of course, while I've got some of that red in my brush, I'm going to go ahead and splatter it around on the page to also kind of bring that in. So that's pretty awesome. I'm loving that, and I'm going to go ahead and dry it to kind of lock that into place. And then I grab my Stabilo All Pencil in black, and I am going around all of those lime green circles that are on that Gelli-print, and I'll activate those with a fairly thin paintbrush with water on it. And y'all, I love this. This is probably one of my favorite things on this spread, is this little bit of accent of those circles from that Gelli-print. I love it. Like I said, this is a Gelli-print that I did share with you. You can find the link to that below. I just, I grabbed some out to share with you, and then while they were out, before I did this page, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and use these because I now have access to it in another form if I want to use it another time. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to get those activated, and y'all, I can't remember what comes next after this. Oh, I do know. I decided I wanted to do some doodling. So I grabbed a Sharpie rollerball pen. It's a 0.5, I believe. And I'm making some lines down. Now, it kind of makes these look a little bit like jellyfish, but I don't know. I just wanted to get some doodling in. So I'm going to just do straight lines down from the 2 that are separated from the edges of the page. So yeah, I love this motion of the straight line. It's something, I don't know, therapeutic for me to just do this repetitive drawing of lines. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing, pulling it straight down from my bows all the way across. And then I'm going to turn my journal upside down. And I've sped this up quite a bit faster. I don't draw this fast. So, but because it's just such a repetitive thing, I thought I sped it up. It still seems fairly slow to me. That's how slow I was going with this. So I got those lines down, and then I'm going to use that same pen to just accent the top of my bows there, just to give them a little bit of something. And that also brings that black pen into that bow that I'm doing right there that didn't get the doodles. So, all right, so from there, I've brought in a big texture stamp that's got letters on it and my Distress Oxide in black soot. And I'm going to put some letters down on here, just like so. Again, I told y'all that I kind of went with a letter theme for this since I had the letter number sticker prompt. It felt like it was the right thing to do. So I was trying to get that on there as, what I could have done instead is maybe stamped on some tissue paper or something like that and then applied that to my page, but I didn't think of that until like a couple hours after I did this. From there, I grabbed my Distress Oxide in Twisted Citron and a stamp of mine, a hand-carved stamp that's got a couple circles on it, just like a donut kind of shape. And I thought that would echo both the lime green that was on the Gelli-print and that circle shape. Trying to be cohesive and kind of keep with a similar theme throughout it, thinking that would bring everything together. So I'm getting that stamped down, and then I'm going to use my distress sprayer to activate the black soot and the twisted citron, just to get those to kind of blend together a little bit. Maybe it didn't do a great job, but I don't know, I enjoy that the distress oxide, when it is activated with water, some of the colors change a little bit, and I love that. So that, yeah. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and dry this super quick. And what did I do? Okay, I brought back in this ad that I got in the mail looking for something I could cut out, a phrase, a word, and the only thing that struck me on that whole thing, y'all, was the coupon code. There was something about those letters. I mean, I think it's a combination letters and numbers that I don't know, that really struck me, that I thought would be great with the whole like letter thing I've got going on. And I was trying to work on my whatchamacallit, focal here, and I brought in, you saw that guy, and I tried to layer other things behind him, but none of it seemed to work. The coffee that I had initially used on that page kept standing out to me, and nothing on the page had that coffee on it. So I took a little bit of copy paper there and am just painting it with some of the coffee, and I'm going to dry it, and because I decided I was going to use it as the focal, because that coffee kept drawing, the coffee that was I had already put on the page kept drawing my eye because of its dark brown color. So I wanted to bring that in somewhere else. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use it on top of these other things I've brought in, and we'll layer all of that together. It did not get dry. And I kind of also thought, okay, well, these bright red letters would be good to bring them back in too. So I'll create a word. And I thought I was going to put it on that picture of that guy. But like I said, he didn't quite work. And so it was like, okay, well, I'll just put it on this coffee paper I made. And I futzed with this, y'all, forever. I really wanted that letter, that little strip of coupon code or whatever it is, and some more of that credit card offer paper. And I just, y'all, I was struggling. We all struggle with some of this sometimes, don't we? So I'm going to play with this for way longer than I really need to. Finally decide to tear down the sharp edges on that coffee paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and start putting my words down. And the word that I decided, or the letters, put the letters down to make a word. And the word I decided to make was explore, because I felt like this entire spread, I was exploring different techniques. You know, I used that technique with the, what is it? Acrylic ink, y'all. Oh, so I explored that technique that I had just seen. I used the Gelli-print in a way I don't know that I've ever used before. I did the coffee and the woodies down first. So it was, I did some of the doodling. This was all just exploring. And in fact, this whole challenge for me, this whole drawing of the prompts and making the cards and doing these projects, this is an exploration. And it is a way for me to play with materials that are in my craft room, but I'm not touching. So this is what all of this is about. So I'm kind of like, liking the word explore here. So I'm going to stick it down, and y'all, it kind of gets lost on that coffee paper. So I thought, okay, well, I'll take that Sharpie pen again and maybe give it some shadow. But it's not really going to help it. In the end, the shadow looks great. You're going to see it in some close-up photos, but it's just so dark on here that it's just not popping off. So I'll grab, and I'm trying to think if that's the next thing I do or if I tear it down. We're going to see. We're going on this adventure, this exploration together, aren't we? So I look at it for a while, look at it in the viewfinder. Off camera, I think I took a picture of it with my phone to kind of look and see if I could see it, and I wasn't loving it. So I'm moving it around. I grabbed I'm just trying to see if this is where I do it. I grabbed a China marker, yeah, a white China marker, and I'm kind of in some of the darker areas in between the letters, below it, all of that, trying to bring some white in so that red will pop just a little bit more. And I think it helps. If not, it gives it a neat accent on that piece of paper. So now I'm going to go ahead and tear down that coffee paper, and then start layering these other things down to stick them down. While I am doing all of that, I'm going to go ahead and say, if you are playing along, please make sure to use the hashtag CraftyHope prompts. And remember, there are many ways to play. You can use the prompts I drew and create a card, create an art journal spread. You can pull your own prompts each week and then create your own prompt deck. You can, however you want to do this. It's about exploring your materials and the prompts and just making something. So I am glad I got in my art journal today and didn't let it scare me too much. So yeah. So I'm finishing this up. I'm getting that down, and I decide I need a little more coffee splatter on here because those Gelli-prints didn't have any, so they needed some too. I gotta share the coffee love. So I'm gonna splatter some coffee on here, dry it, and be done with this. I'm gonna give you a few more looks at this. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or what you would have done differently. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you're not. And I will see y'all soon. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.